Now, before we get into today's topic, next Friday, March the 20th at 3 p.m. Eastern, I'm going to spend a full hour breaking down Sequoia Capital's thesis that your practice is a disruption target worth $50 to $80 billion. What it means, and more importantly, what to do about it. It's free. Please register to attend at the aiaccountant.ai/webinar. The link's in the description. Yesterday, I talked about something that happened in my practice. A cross-border tax research project where my AI and I had a genuine adversarial dialogue. I challenged it, it pushed back. I refused to accept a plausible answer until it survived sustained attack. And because of that process, we caught a material error that neither of us would have found alone. The conversation was valuable. But here's what I didn't tell you yesterday. The work after the work was even more valuable. So we finished the research. The file was clean. We were ready to submit. But I stopped. And I asked the AI 3 questions. What worked well in this process? What created problems? And how could we do this different next time? And Claude Cowork is remarkably self-critical when you ask. It identified friction points I'd completely missed, places where we'd jumped to drafting before the analysis was actually solid, assumptions we'd carried too long without testing them, gaps in our research brief that made the process harder than it needed to be. That 10-minute conversation produced something worth more than the submission itself. It produced a reusable methodology that any practitioner in my firm can follow the next time they face a complex research decision. They don't have to rediscover the process. They don't have to learn it from scratch. It's there, documented, actionable. This is the work most practitioners never do. You finish a project, the deliverable goes off to the client or the filing authority, and the process that produced it, not the specific reasoning, but the way you actually worked through the problem, it lives in one person's head. Next time someone in your firm faces a similar question, they don't just lack the answer, they lack the process. They have to figure out how to think through the problem before they can even start thinking through it. Now, even if you sat down and walked them through it, they'd still have to work out how to execute it themselves. The gap is a waste of everything you just learned. But here's what changes everything. When you ask those reflective questions to the AI, it doesn't just answer them. It builds the instruction. It writes the process down in a form that guides the next person through the same methodology, step by step, with the same rigor, the same phase gates, the same adversarial stance. The AI doesn't capture knowledge, it operationalizes it. In Claude Cowork, there are 2 concrete ways to encode what you learn. The first is an instruction file, a document that lives in a specific folder and shapes how AI operates in that context. When I open my tax research folder, Claude already knows my jurisdiction and preferences, my documentation standards, the analytical frameworks that I use. I didn't configure that in a settings menu. I wrote it down in a file, in plain language, and the AI reads it every time. The second thing is a skill, a portable methodology that's available across every session, regardless of which folder I'm working in. The research dialogue process we built from the cross-border project is a skill. It encodes the 3-phase approach: research and challenge first, architecture second, drafting last. The adversarial stance, the loose end tracking, the research brief that builds as we go. Anyone with that skill gets the same structured process I developed through trial and error, but without the trial and error. The distinction matters. Instructions are context. They tell AI where it is and how to behave here. Skills are processes. They tell AI how to do a specific type of work, anywhere. Both are just text files. Both compound over time. And both flip the relationship between practitioner and tool. The AI isn't waiting for you to tell it what to do. It's guiding you through a proven process. Your process, encoded once, executed consistently every time. Every instruction file you write, every skill you build, every process you document in a way that AI can follow, you're building structured knowledge that makes your practice more capable. Not just you personally, your team. The person you hire next year who needs to do the work you're doing today. This is context engineering in practice. A firm that has encoded its research methodology, its client onboarding process, and its advisory frameworks into reusable instructions and skills doesn't just use AI faster, it uses AI better. Every project makes the next one sharper. Every instruction file reduces the gap between what your best person knows and what everyone can do. That's the rebuild. That's the moat. So here's what I want you to do. After your next significant piece of work, the next tax research question, the next advisory recommendation, the next regulatory interpretation, stop before you move on. Ask those 3 questions. What worked? What didn't? And what do we do differently? Write down what you learn. And don't just ask yourself. Ask your AI that worked with you. Turn it into an instruction or a skill that someone else can use. You'll be surprised how quickly the knowledge adds up. And you'll be even more surprised by what happens when you hand that skill to a colleague and they produce work at a level that used to require your direct involvement. That's not a productivity gain. That's a practice asset. And it started with getting the process out of your head. Now, here's where I'm going to push this further. Every time you tell AI it's wrong, every correction, every pushback, well, that's not how this works, you're exercising a skill that the profession has never developed deliberately. It might be the most valuable thing you can do with AI all week. And I'm going to show you exactly what I mean tomorrow. In the meantime, if you want the research dialogue skill we built from this work, the templates, the prompt library, everything you need to get started with Claude Cowork in your practice, grab my book, Your Practice Automated. It's available on Amazon as a Kindle edition, or head to theaiaccountant.com/book to get the book and the free 5-day implementation video course. The skills you build now compound into practice assets that work for your whole team. Let's get it out of your head and into your system. See you tomorrow.